Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my March wrap up. I had a really good month of March. I read 13 books, so that brings my total to 37 books out of the 150 that I want to read for the year. I'm going to start off by saying that I did DNF for now, Holy Sister. I really had every intention of reading that book in the month of March, but we ended up back in the school, and we've already discussed I didn't like that about the first book. Second book, at this point, I can tell is going to be my favorite of the trilogy. I know that I will pick it up eventually, but just was not happy with that. So with that being said, let's get into what I did read. So really what I should have started with is that I completed the Naruto TBR challenge. Thank you very much. I was successful. Didn't think I would be. I finished all 5 prompts and I ended up reading a book that had some pink in it. So again, congratulations to moi. I'm very excited. So the first book that I read, and let me make sure I get the card out, was a book published anonymously. I chose The Whisper Man. Damn, now I can't remember what his name was. I'll put his name up somewhere. It was on the list. So I don't exactly know how it's anonymous, if it's a pseudonym. It was on the list for Pop Sugar, and that's all that matters. And I gave that book 5 stars. I listened to it on audiobook. Christopher Eccleston, who was the doctor, was the narrator, and it was fantastic. Even though I have this book on my Kindle, I think I probably would have preferred to listen to it anyway. So I'm really glad I did. I really enjoyed the scary, like, is it supernatural, is it not aspect of the book, because you really don't know if it is going to be a supernatural situation or if it's just like, is this a real thing that's going on? Is the Whisper Man real or is he fake? And I loved it. I definitely want to read the other book. I don't remember what it's called. It's you know, I keep getting it confused with Imaginary Friend. I think that's by a different author. I'll try to put it up somewhere. But I'm pretty sure that this was the one that a lot of people have said that they really liked, and they're kind of so-so on the second book. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure that the second book is on Hoopla for free, so maybe I'll read that for April. Who knows? The next book I listened to was 9 Perfect Strangers, and that was a locked room mystery. And you know, first of all, I had to look up what a locked room mystery meant, because I didn't quite know. I mean, I kind of guessed, you know, okay, it's taking place in a locked room, something's happening. Think Clue, that's the thing that popped into my mind. And when I looked it up online, it said something along the lines of like, a crime is committed and nobody knows who did it, and maybe you don't end up knowing at the end. And 9 Perfect Strangers, I ended up rating it a 3-star. It was not terrible. I did enjoy listening to it on audiobook, and I'm glad I did, because that was, I think, 11 hours long. Let me tell you, not a lot happened in the first 10 hours. It's very character driven, which I usually am a fan of, but I think because I was expecting for there to be something that happened that was like a crime or a death or something, that I was left very disappointed, because I'm not gonna give everything away, but nothing really happens. I listened to this on vacation. I finished it like at the very first few days that I was away, and I was thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I listened to this for 11 hours. Granted, I listened to it on 3 times the speed at the end, and it wasn't bad, but I absolutely think that that could have been shortened. I will say this, I think it was a really cool concept. A bunch of people come to a retreat, and they're all there for something different, which is, I guess, not very common. I would think that if you go to retreat for, you know, family counseling, that's what it's going to be mostly focused on. But this retreat, it's like 9 different people who have different things going on. Someone, you know, wants to lose weight. Another family needs therapy. A couple needs therapy. And what they don't know, unfortunately, this retreat is usually really great. not a lot of problems, except this year, the person who runs it is like, you know what? We're going to kick it up a notch. And it's pretty messed up what the person who runs the retreat does. I certainly wouldn't want to experience that. But because it was so long, I had to dock some points. So yeah, I am a fan of something that's character driven, but it wasn't really a mystery what happened at all. But overall, a 3-star. So the next book was Silent Patient, and this was a book with something broken on the cover. So this is on the pocket trigger list, so I'm assuming broken because there's a tear. And pink because of her lips. Blam. This was 5 stars. I thought this book was fantastic. Obviously, I got this in a book of the month box, and I had it on my shelf for a while. I'm really glad that this was suggested, because I was always going to pick this up, but I wouldn't have picked it up in the month of March. And wow, this was really good. Basically, you're getting 2 different perspectives. The main character is a therapist, and then the other perspective is the patient that he's looking after, but through her diaries. And it was good. The ending was nothing that I ever would have expected. I don't think I've ever read an ending like that. If you've read it, I think you know what I'm talking about. I've never read something where that was going on. I didn't know what to believe. I didn't know, I can't remember her name now. I didn't know if Alicia was one of those unreliable narrators, and that, they're gonna make her crazy. Because in this book, basically the psychotherapist is meeting Alicia, who has been completely silent for years after the death of her husband. People believe that she's the one who did it. Other people don't think so. It's a mystery surrounding it. And this psychotherapist, I think that's what, I don't know these damn terms. Psychotherapist. He's determined to, prove her innocence, get the story, see if she won't be silent anymore. And it was fantastic. Like I said, I really didn't expect that ending, and this was 5 stars, and I would absolutely recommend this book. And lastly, and this is all from the Naruto TBR tag, I combined a book that's on your TBR list for the longest amount of time and a book found on a Black Lives Matter reading list. So I combined these two with Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis, and that has been one book that's been on my Kindle for a long time. It was like on that first page, it's like all the way when you scroll to page 1, and it was good. I rated it 5 stars. It's definitely an enlightening read, because it's not just talking about things like intersectional feminism or the Black Lives Matter movement, or things happening in Ferguson, Tamir Rice. It's also talking about like Palestine and stuff, which I'm not well versed in at all, but just Angela Davis's own activism in trying to talk more about what's happening in Palestine and so on and so forth. So I would definitely recommend it, because I learned a lot more than I think that I really get a lot of information on when it comes to like American media, which I feel like it's not really spoken about at all. Or it's spoken about in the complete opposite way than what she's talking about. So I would definitely recommend it. Like I said, I rated it 5 stars, and I finished it on March 31st. So that's how I figured, that's how I completed this. So very, very exciting. Next, I read, what I have in my hand is 12 through 18, but I read volumes 11 through 18 of The Promised Neverland. There are only 2 volumes left in this series, and I have to say, this is a fantastic series. I feel like they have, 5 stars if I can't say that. Usually I don't really rate manga all that much. I would probably rate the series as a whole instead of like the volumes. But so far, even though we've only got 2 volumes left, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think this is gonna be a 5-star series for me. I think that the whole story, the characters, the children, usually I don't like reading about children, but these children are obviously pretty exceptional. We're learning about why farms exist even more, why the demons exist, what the promise was so long ago. Can there be a new promise made? And I think now I feel more comfortable watching the second season because I don't think there's any way they will have caught up to like volume 18. But so far, really good. I cried on volume 15, I think it was. You meet so many new people along the way, but they also don't have a problem with killing people, which is really, really gut-wrenching. And so far, the final battle, which it will obviously completely end in the last 2 volumes, but like this major battle that happened was really intense. I absolutely loved it. I did struggle to, you know, stop myself from reading ahead because I really wanted to, like, I don't like being anxious and scared. But yeah, I definitely would recommend this series. I loved it so far. And lastly, I read the first book in the Anita Blake series, Guilty Pleasures. It was 5 stars. I did not realize how badly I really wanted to reread that series because it was such a good experience to reread the first book again. I loved being able to, even though you only get a glimpse of these particular characters in the first book, Zabrowski and Ronnie, her best friend, it's still so nice to read about them again. Anita is the character that I really love in this book. So, you know, it's 5 stars. I really would suggest that people read the first few books in the series. It is a little bit older, so you've got some things that are a little outdated, some things that, you know, obviously could be a little problematic in a few more books from now, I believe. But Anita as a, you know, crime solver, crime fighter, necromancer, kind of badass woman, it's so good. And you know, I know I mentioned this in my last video. I was considering like maybe I should like get the newer volumes from the library. But if you read the freaking comments on Goodreads about some of these newest books that she put out, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. I really don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea. So I know I was kind of thinking like, oh, well, maybe I'll just read it. I'll get it from the library if it's already there anyway. But I don't know if I can mentally handle, like someone literally commented that a book that's 700 pages, people, the last 2 chapters, that's not even 100 pages because she did this in another book, is where everything happens. Like all of the fighting, solving of the mystery, all that happens in the last 2 chapters, and it's if anything, it's probably 30 pages long. So out of 700 pages, 30 or so is the actual point of the book, you know, like the synopsis that is on the back that like gets people interested. So, you know, I don't know. I'm still got time to think about it. The year is still fresh and new, but I'm just going to take my time through the series again because I really had a lot of fun reading it while I was on vacation. It's just very nice to get back into the story. So with that being said, that's my March wrap up. Like I said, I read 13 books. It went really well. I obviously had a lot of 5 stars on here, and soon I will be doing my TBR for April. I'm going to try to keep it a little light. I already know what the prompt is for the Naruto TBR, and I'm going to be a little bit easier on myself in April because I will say I did kind of have a slump in the month of March. I had to like force myself to read 100 pages for some books just because, well, there's only one book, The Silent Patient. Even though it was a fantastic book, I got to a point after listening to the audiobooks that I was kind of like, I think I'm getting into a reading slump. So, because I knew I had a lot of stuff to read. So we might try to take it easy in April. We shall see. The video's coming soon. I'm probably going to film it right after this, so we'll see what happens. But with that being said, if you like the video, please like the video. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the notification button. And with that being said, thank you so much. Goodbye.